Imhotep, peace, shalom, shalom, Black African power. Welcome, Black family, to another installment of the Raising Awareness Blog Talk Show. Dawa, thank you for joining us. If this is your first time listening to us, let me give you a brief synopsis of who and what we are about. We are a collective group of common goal Black people whose main direction is the homeschooling, truthful knowledge, and education of the Black family through an African-centered point of view. We affirm the teachings and writings of transitioned elders like Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, Dr. Diop, Empress Quest Welsing, Dr. Amos, and others. We shall not allow any misinformation and propaganda from white academia be passed along under our umbrella. We've taken the time to formulate an introduction supplement to homeschooling for the community at large. This supplement is available on our website. Please go to our website on our YouTube channel that's named Raising Awareness Group. There you'll have the access to our link to our website. Again, go to our YouTube channel that's named Raising Awareness Media Group. Our supplement is easy to visually digest and is tailored not only for the children, but also for the parent. This supplement is for the entire family. It is not just predicated for one entity of the family, so please check it out at your convenience. We also recommend our methodology criteria for the adults. We at the Raising Awareness Group subscribe to the Mayada order. Thanks to the Univ of Kmt Press, we use the methodology of our ancestors. We strongly recommend all adults in the community to purchase some awesome literature, survival organization, and what must be done. If you're interested in reading the largest book ever to be written by an African scholarship, I advise you to get African Time Volume 1. It is the first and only 1,000-plus page authored book by any African scholar. Any African history that is taught must be taught, spoken on, and illustrated by African historians only. We will offer information during the show about how to get access to the Univ of Kmt Press for purchasing these wonderful literatures and where the writers will be soon. Moving forward with tonight's topic of discussion, I'd like to gain a perspective on our women. Black mothers, Black daughters, Black sisters, Black aunts, Black nieces, Black family members, Black friends. They've all been demonized. This issue is serious business. Black women are being demonized through multiple avenues. By no means should this topic be taken lightly. Whether it's social media, reality shows, cinema, clothing, advertisement, and even religiously. Yes, religiously. Only our women are being demonized. This demonization has gone on too far, even to a fatal theme. This hatred of Black sisters has reduced them to being some form of degenerate. Our sisters were never degenerates under African binders. When did this all occur and how? All these questions and solutions will be discussed tonight. Let me introduce the panel for tonight's show. You have my brother K-Dub, you have my brother Kevin Williams, Kill, myself, brother Afrikanus, and we have one of our sisters from the Raising Awareness Group. She co-admins pages with myself. United States of Africa, Only Black Love is Black Power, Sister Mama Africa, and later on we'll have on Sister Ashley, who runs Black Women Against Feminism. Now, I just wanted everyone to know that we will be taking calls very soon. All you have to do is press 1. We'll see you. We already see it's a lot of people waiting already. What we'll do is I would like to play a clip. I want everyone to listen to this clip, and after that, we're going to have some dialogue. But let me cue this clip so everybody can hear this right now real fast.
100 years, put on her display like she's a damn animal. You understand what I'm saying, family? This is some more imagery that they crafted up during that time where they was using her as a spectacle. All right, here's one of the newspapers from France where they actually had a newspaper and said, you can come visit her at the zoo. It was that bad. So us as black men, if we only are envisioning the black woman with having a voluptuous body, then we're going to start reflecting the desires of the oppressor. Let's move forward, family. Let's move forward. the sexual exploitation of black women during American slavery. We gotta get into this, family, because again, I'm telling you, when you think about the black woman's guy, you're thinking about breasts, you're thinking about vagina, you're thinking about the womb, you're thinking about curves. But let's see the sexual exploitation of the black woman during American slavery. Let's take a look into that. All right? Here's an article from Atlanta Black Star. It's called 10 Horrifying Facts About the Sexual Exploitation of Enslaved Black Women You May Not Know. November 5th, 2014, posted by Taylor Gordon, and they had an image of Aunt Jemima, okay? Now let's move forward. I'm going to get into some of this article. All right? Here's the image right here. You see this? Look at this. Look at this. See this, sir? It's crazy. Owners of enslaved people claimed they were doing black women a favor by having sex with them. Enslaved women were forced to have sex with their owners, but their masters considered this a favor. White men often claimed they were doing black women a favor by saving them from having sex with black men who were considered to be animalistic and brutal. The black mandingo man that they used on the stud farm to impregnate the black woman and separate him from the rest of his family, he was called a brute, he was called an animal, he was called all these different kind of names, but yet and still the slave master, after projecting all of this savagery in regards to being a sexual deviant and preying upon the black woman, has now projected it on a black man, but secretly behind closed doors, he was raping the black woman. Let's move on to that. Move in. All right? Enslaved women known as mammies did more than cook and clean. They were often expected to be extremely affectionate towards their masters. Again, sexual deviancy. Many people know that enslaved women known as mammies worked in the master's homes rather than out in the fields. But this certainly didn't make life any easier for the woman. They were sometimes expected to be incredibly affectionate and intimate with their owners, more so than other enslaved individuals. The housewoman, the one that was catering the house, she was expected to give it up more so than the slaves in the field, because she was more, quote-unquote, reformed than the slaves out in the field, all right? If they ever resisted any intimate advance, they might be subjected to incredibly harsh punishments such as beatings or rape. Where do we see this out now, family? Well, we see that some of the young black men that are in our communities who see the women and give them cat calls and so forth, they become extremely aggressive sexually, calling her ma and all these other kinds of names. And if the woman does not give them play, what do? They resort to calling you a bitch and throwing things at them and try to want to fight them. We are reflecting the oppressor. See, we can't keep teaching this doctrine in regards to the body of the woman, because now it's going to start to embed something in the psyche that will cause us to reflect the oppressor when we see the black woman. All right, let's move forward. All right, enslaved women known as Jezebels were sometimes raped and then accused of being promiscuous. So they would take this black woman, rape her, even sometimes they would sell her as a sex slave to other plantation owners and sex her so much that all she knew of her identity as a human being was just being a sex object. It says a certain group of enslaved women were deemed Jezebels by their owners. These women were assumed to be even more promiscuous than the other enslaved black women and were often subjugated to sexual abuse multiple times throughout the day. While white men forced these Jezebels to have sex with them, they insisted that it was the enslaved woman's fault for being promiscuous. We hear this sometimes in our own community when a young woman is being raped by her uncle, by her father, by a stranger, and she's continuously raped throughout her entire existence, to the point where now the projection of victimhood is placed onto her. This was going on during this time. And this is why rape and molestation in the black community gotta go. It gotta go. But what happens is this becomes so embedded that when we see a woman who's very promiscuous, we're not really studying the story behind the closed book cover to see, well, what made this woman this way? Most dudes just want to go and get it in, but they're not trying to examine the heart and soul of this woman and say, you know what, who has hurt this woman for her to be so promiscuous and so readily giving up her body to me? We have to take a moment out to see the woman for as delicate as she is and do our best to reform, do our best to heal her. Because a lot of black women have been hurt because of this. But this kind of behavior happened from the slave master. Slave master. And it's been raped.
Thank you, Brother Akil. Yeah, it just sounds like a recurring theme over and over again. I just wanted to bring my brother Kevin Williams. You there, brother?
Yes, I'm here, Brother Afrikan. How you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm all right, man. Another day, another beautiful day to be a brother. I love the skin that I'm in. Is my sister Mama Africa there?
Peace and blessings.
Hey, peace and blessings, sister. All right, good evening. I'm glad you joined us. We'll have Sister Ashley on later in a little bit. So we're talking about the demonization of black women on the show tonight. It's a heavy topic, and it must be addressed. I see we have callers. Callers, just press 1 if you want to chime in with us, but we're going to have an open discussion about this. But I wanted to read a little bit about this article from the Huffington report, speaking on demonization of black women. And I'm going to talk about demonization of black women through the media. And the fact is that black women are becoming more and more demonized through television is just common knowledge that black women have routinely been disrespected and misrepresented by mainstream media. The images of loud-mouthed, finger-pointing, confrontational, male-bashing women have been often too eagerly showcased. In fact, when pursuing through internet comments discussing the pool party incident, and they're talking about the pool party incident, numerous people made the argument that the young ladies were probably loud-mouthed to the officer. Now, right then and there, now we're going to talk about this, and this is going to get into other issues, but what we have become to know is that when our black women are being demonized, they already have a propaganda about them. So when you demonized, and this is I'm directing this towards especially men who go around demonizing black women, with the loud mouth and back talk. When this persona, this false persona is put out about our women, they become vulnerable to violence by law enforcement. And we're talking about that pool party incident from last year. That's what I'm pertaining to. That's why those officers felt that they did what they did to our women. They could just toss them around like rag dolls because they feel as though that these black women aren't to be respected. They're lowlifes. And so now you have white supremacists who are working the strings at both avenues, demonizing them, and now through social media and through other avenues that now it's okay for them to be violently correct them, which we cannot have, because this is what happened to sisters like Sandra Bland, who were murdered by police. So what I wanted to ask you, Sister Mama Africa, and this is a worldly lady. She's traveled the world basically, so she's seen how black women are demonized globally. But to what extent do you believe what is the extent of demonization of black women that you've seen here in the United States?
The extent. Well,
meaning compared to globally, like over on the continent, when you see this, when you see how black women are, like I know through social media, television, or what have you, but what is the extent? Like, what are the differences of how black women are portrayed in America compared to on the continent?
Okay, so what I've noticed is here, because you look at it by the culture, the empire that it's presiding over, your people. So here it's more like still going back to the Christian crusade. So here you have black women being sexually exploited because this is white culture. The men, we're taking on white culture basically. So black women their position is to either be sexually exploited or to be single, with multiple children and never having hopes of ever getting married, or to be independent and successful but alone, or a lesbian. So like in the area of sex, it's hypersexualized. So it's like they're carrying on that Sarah Bartman, labeling to the black woman, and they have everybody, including her own family, including some of the men in her life, treating her the same. So and she takes on that a lot of the the young ladies you see, they don't have any cultural understanding or grounding in their identity. They don't have anything that's pushing that in their life. Just the image they go after, because this is what's being pushed constantly in the media. You know, we learned this from Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, you know, Press and Power, and she explains about the constant bombardment of images, you know, and of course, although she focused on the destruction of, you know, the black man, and through genetic annihilation of white people, basically. You could take the same concept with black women, because for black women, it's not so much about her, you know, going after, you know, white men and going to rape them. You know, what we learned from Dr. Welsing is that a woman can't rape a man. You know, if somebody has a gun to his head, he's not going to be thinking about, hey, you know, let me have sex. He's going to either fight back or run away. He doesn't want to get killed. You know, that's just your flight or fight syndrome. You're not going to survival. So you don't die because you want to have sex, you know? So, so let's just get that out of the way. And then we have, with black women, you know, a lot of them are falling with this white American woman ideology, or white supremacist ideology of what it is to be a woman, which is the feminist movement, you know, which pushes them in a direction of eugenic science. It was white feminists like Margaret Sanger that basically founded the Planned Parenthood with the purpose of depopulating, you know, mostly black people and handicapped and, you know, people with disabilities, basically, and black people, because they saw us as inferior. So the abortions were pushed for that. They weren't pushed for the benefit of women or black women. They were pushed for that, and they were deliberately put in urban areas with high concentration of black people. So now they're doing the same thing in Africa now. So it's successful here in America. You know, they're testing it out here and see how successful it is to keep the population down at 13%, you know, and then they go and try to take it somewhere else. And they're calling themselves freeing, you know, people, giving them democracy and human rights and all these things, but the objective is really to depopulate. So this is how, that's one aspect. The reproductive portion is always attacked when it comes to black women, because they want to keep the population down, because their population is dwindling. You could look at the population index around the entire world, and you could see that they're at a negative birth rate. You know, they're
that's for sure.
They're disappearing, but this is why they try to control other populations that they know have big families, and we just happen to be one of those, you know. If
and
you go
what
back
better
to
way?
generations, everybody had grandparents that had, or a grandmother that had 14 children or something. Now we have smaller families. Women
and what
have
better way to
babies
control the population? What better way to control the population? But what better way to control the population by controlling their woman, whether it be sexualization or demonization of them. We're the Raising Awareness group. We're talking with our sister Mama Africa. We're going to have our sister Ashley on later on. We're talking about the demonization of black women. I got myself, Brother Afrikanus, my brother Kevin Williams. He's on with me. You know what? And let's talk about this, though. And, again, if you're on the line, press 1. You want to talk to us, ask us a question, sound off, just press 1. But you know what? I think, you know, with the issue with, especially with television, with entertainment, we lack the family structure, the motherhood image of, you know, past mothers like Claire Huxtable from the Cosbys, Florida Evans from Good Times, even the Aunt Viv from Fresh Prince, the first and second Aunt Viv from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Those positive images were removed from entertainment. And they, because remember, in entertainment, most black women were just mammies and over sexual, just mammies. Like what the brother was talking about in that lecture. They were just mammies. Black women were just maid servant mammies, walking around with those wigs on, and just this ancient mama, big butt ancient mama servants. Whereas though they transformed a little bit, and then black women started becoming the mothers, the Florence Hendersons on television. But sadly, that was removed. So, and they were replaced with these over-sexualized, desperate housewives, loudmouth, type of mothers, where, just being over-sexualized and these bodies, the Sarah Bartman bodies, and, doggy see, doggy do. Because what happens is, if you're in a broken home, if you live in a broken home, you need a mother and a father to see how a relationship operates. So if you're living in a broken home and you don't have that, what's the next thing you're going to go out and see to pattern yourself to know how a family functions? You're going to look at it on television. That's just how it is. That's how life is right now. People look for television sometimes to raise them when their parents aren't raising them. So if you're living in a dysfunctional situation and you're trying to get a grasp of whatever the way a family's supposed to be, the man provides the food, clothes, shelter, the mother has her roles, then this is how a family functions. If that's not what's happening live, living color, you're going to go another avenue. And now this is what they have. You can't really tell me one show on television that probably has a positive black family. It's going to be something raunchy, just over the top reality show. So this is a part of the reason how black women are being demonized. And see, this is what I want people to understand. White supremacists, or just not even white supremacists, forget about white supremacists. We're just talking about regular, everyday old white people. The white people you have a job with, who you clock in the same job with at 9 to 5. They see this type of conduct on television because a lot of white people, this is how they're learning about how black people conduct themselves. If that's what they see on television, that's what they think how we all conduct ourselves in our home. So they say, oh, they're just rude, loud, and raunchy at home. And this is also the same white people become police officers, corrections officers, doctors, judges, lawyers, people of authority. And this is what they're thinking of us in the back of the mind. And that's why it's so easy for these devils to do what they've done to people like our sisters like Sandra Bland. It's so easy for them to do that to the children like it happened at that pool party last year in Texas. That's why they could do that, because they think that this is the only way they can be authoritative over them. And I want people to have that understanding. But let me bring my brother Kevin Williams on. Kevin Williams, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, brother.
Peace, brother. How you doing tonight? I'm glad you're on.
Man, same thing. Always good to be a black man. Always comfortable in my skin, man. I mean, it's gonna be that way. It's gonna be that way to the day I die, man. But I want to bring it to another perspective of this. I mean, speaking it from a male's perspective, but this is a point that it gets me angry when I hear this. This is the demonization that comes from brothers towards black women. I hear stupid things, and I'm pretty sure you see it too. You see it on social media, and it's horrible. Social media is horrible when it comes to this topic. But I hear brothers, I've heard this come out of their mouths like, man, black women are losing. And I'm like, what do you mean by that? And they're like, and pretty much what they're doing is comparing black women to other women, the Hispanic woman, the white woman, the homely Asian woman. They're like, oh, look at them. Look at the Spanish woman, man. She dressing fine and look at that ass. Excuse my language. Stuff like that. Oh man, look at our women, man. We losing. They losing, man. And stuff like that. So I'm like, why would you say that, though? They're like, dog, and they be like, dog. They trying to be like these women. So what's the point of me trying to, find a comfort in a black woman when I could just go to this type of woman over here? And I'm just like, okay, and when I would think about it, it's because of the demonization. It's to the point that our brothers are starting, not all, but there's a lot of brothers starting to give up on our women, and that's alarming, bro. I mean, that's the only way I can put it. It's very alarming, and and they look at some of our women as straight up. They look at our women as only thing they can be is strippers, ratchet like on the reality TV that they're showing on, things like that. I mean, what do we got to do about this to stop this, man?
Well, you know what? You brought up a good point. You got up. Oh, go ahead, sister. Go ahead, sister. You got something to say? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to interject there because that's actually a very, very good point because the root of that is how we adopt white culture. You have let's just go to Rome, for instance. You have men there that used to attend brothels and or they would have molest little boys, have sex with boys or men and so on, and they would reject the women to keep their chastity, right? And the women would feel rejected because they would go to that, and they would also go to their hookers, basically, their concubines and so on. They looked at women in the sense of conquering them, not so much being a mate to the woman or the polar opposite or in the balance of the woman. She was more of something to conquer. It's the culture of them. They conquer, So they go and destroy and they conquer. Same thing. So you had these women that began to branch out and they went and this is where lesbianism, the term lesbian comes from the island of Lesbosa. They went there and they began to practice lesbianism, comforting each other because their men rejected them, or looked at them as something to conquer. So then that ideology comes over here, and it's drilled into the minds of, okay, who do you conquer? You have to conquer the black woman because she is at the lowest of the caste system here. The white women are surely above her. Any other woman is surely above her. This is how it's set up. This is everywhere. Even if you go to South Africa, because you have, for example, you have Hindus there. You have Asians. You have the white people that call themselves Afrikaner, and the Dutch, and the British, the Boers, whatever. So all those women come before the African woman. See that there is a deliberate destruction for her, because if you take it even further back into Kemet, into Kush, and into Nubia, and into Timbuktu, and so on, all these places where you've had African women, they were able to participate in their society. They were able to be happy. They were able to own land. They were able to enter in the type of marriage they want to enter in, whether it's polygamous or whether it is, monogamous, so on. They were able to do things. They were able to be in government. They were able to be doctors, healers. Things. They had something in life, teachers, so on. And the men from the outside, when they came in, they didn't like that because their women began to desire that same type of lifestyle.
But
so there was
that's a very good point.
There was a reason to knock her down. So.
That's a very good point, sister.
Thanks.
That's a very good point you brought up. Very good point, because our problems were never their problems. We had a view of we had the way we looked at our women. Our women played an integral part in our community as a whole, as a family, and what a family was supposed to be in a household, where the white man just didn't. And we allowed the white man's way of him treating his woman. They had sex wars and issues politically where African women didn't. That's why we're going to talk, when Sister Ashley comes on, we're going to talk about that, how black feminists play a role in the demonization of black women. But to go back to on point what my brother Kevin Williams was talking about, most of the time, and I'm explaining this for people, most of the time when you hear about black men who demonize black women, when you see those memes on Facebook and Instagram, social media, they pick the worst of the black woman. They pick the worst one, the worst looking, undesirable looking woman, and they compare her to the most dialed out looking Hispanic, Latino, whatever, Asian looking woman, and use that phrase, white women win and Asian girls win and black women lose and whatever. You got to look at that brother and see what type of relationship he had with his mother. That's normally the clear sign of why he has a hatred for black women. If you hate your mother, you're going to generally probably hate more other black women. And those brothers probably have a scorned relationship with their mother. Their mother may not have been the best to them. Their mother might have had multiple men around them. Their mother maybe not have nurtured them the possible way, had the right man around them, and they just have a hatred for their mother. That's just what it is. Because there's no way if you love your mother, if you know how to love your mother, don't most women go by this? A man's going to treat you the way he treats his mother. If he treat his mother good, he love his mom. You know, like that's his third hand. He gonna love his black woman. So if he got an issue with his black mother, he gonna have an issue with black women. So those type of brothers, they scorn, they hurt from whatever their upbringing was with their mother. It could be a host of reasons why. Their mother could have been a crackhead, a junkie, probably was in and out the house, might have left the house, or just didn't take care of him the way he wanted to be. So he just has a hatred for a black man, for a black woman. That's just generally how that works, brother. You know, they're just the lowlifes. And I'm sorry that happened, but I'm not going to let that negative energy keep going, because we got to stop that. Because we got enough problems with our women being over-sexualized anyway because of their bodies, the makeup, the hair, everything. And we keep letting this white supremacist get away with it. And that's what I'm trying to channel this towards, because white supremacy is the one behind it, pulling the strings of this demonization. He's demonizing our woman, and now he's using that as an excuse now to hurt our woman, turning us against you. This battle of the sexes was never our problem, but it became our problem because of the influence of white supremacy through the workplace, because we always kept trying to be his friend at the workplace. Black women wanted to be their friend. He couldn't have been your friend. The white woman was the one that made black women alter their hair to be accepted in the workplace, so she couldn't have been your friend. She made you put that wig on to get the job in the 60s. Mm-hmm. That's what broke up the Black Power movement, when there was unity with us. If there's no unity with us, then they could conquer. That's how you conquer a nation. You know, and I just want people to get that understood about that. The demonization of black women is just another tactic of white supremacy to keep us from building together. But we're going to take some callers real quick. Again, press 1. Press 1 if you want to talk to us. Akil, go ahead, take one, because my iPad just went out. Go ahead, Kevin Williams.
Caller 917. You're live with the Raising Awareness Group.
Hey, peace, family. Yeah, this is Brother Tad. I'm just tuning in, listening in, and a lot of things y'all saying are definitely on point. You know, I was talking to some young sisters at New York University College not too long ago, and they were trying to be a feminist movement. And I say trying because they really didn't have a basic understanding on the modern day terms of feminism and where it stems from. But I had to let them know that as a member of the Straight Black Pride movement, that our role is to protect women. In the beginning, they thought that was very misogynistic, but I explained to them that we understand that the black woman is the target. And as black men, our job is to protect the black woman. So it's not being chauvinistic or misogynist. It's just the way that things should be, because black women shouldn't be left out here to fight these battles alone, because there are enough things to tell black women that they're not good enough. I was watching a commercial with my daughters the other day, and they just showed a sister with natural hair, and then they used some product, and her hair was straight, and they said, and your hair can now be beautiful. And I asked my daughter, do you see how they just sat here and said that your natural hair is ugly? Because they showed your natural hair as being a problem, and then put on the weave or that silky look, and all of a sudden now that is the term for beautiful. And I told her, be careful. But, again, I'm not going to hold y'all up too long. I just want to say I definitely appreciate the sisters, and I made a vow to protect sisters. You know, so
hey, brother. We
yes.
appreciate you, brother. We appreciate you. We appreciate Irritated Genie. We love the SBPM. I know we missed that last meeting. We were supposed to be down there, but we're going to attend the next one as a Raising Awareness group, and we love y'all brothers, man, because we got a whole battle that we need brothers just like y'all, man, because we got to build this, because we got to let these sisters know we got their back, because we need their backs too. We got their back just like they got our back. You know what I'm saying?
You know, yeah, you know, I tried to explain that to the young sisters I was talking to at NYU, because they gave a presentation called Hotep History, because, you know, it's this new thing running around calling us Hotep N-word. You know, and it's insulting. And I had to let them know, first of all, they didn't know the history. But to keep it real brief, we could go to Ase, Ase, and Htp. And it was Ase who's the God King, who was broken into pieces, and who put them back together? But it's Queen Ase. But it's Queen Ase. See, for us strong heterosexual black men, we understand the power of a black woman, that no matter how bad the world beat us down, when we come home and we behind them doors and she rub us on our back, that's our motivation to keep fighting. When we come home, look at our wives and our children, we understand what we go out there and fight for. So once she bandaged us back up like Ase did, we ready to go back out there and battle, and to raise our children like Htp was raised, to carry on the tradition, to pass the baton, because we got to be in our right state of mind. Because what I explained to the young sisters, I understand that there are some brothers out here that are out of their mind, that misrepresent what it is that we hold near and dear. But don't let that discourage you from us having a partnership in this movement, because black women shouldn't have to fight this battle alone, just like black men shouldn't have to fight these battles alone. We need one another, and I won't let nobody come between me and the black woman.
And me neither, brother, because we got, you know, because that's how we're going to reproduce. Ain't no way we're going to reproduce without them. You know?
Exactly.
And a lot of times what happens is these black sisters on this college campus, and that was one of my points I wanted to bring up too. And you know what? Thanks for your brother, calling anytime. You say you're from the SPPM, you know your family, so always calling anytime, brother. We're just going to put you back in the box. We're going to put you back in the box so you can still listen to the show, all right?
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all, brothers. Peace,
brother.
Peace.
And you know what? I'm glad this brother brought that up. And again, we're the Raising Awareness group. We're talking about demonization of black women. We got my brother Kevin Williams on, myself, brother Afrikan. We have Sister Mama Africa. We're going to have Sister Ashley from the Black Women Against Feminism. She's going to be on. And, I wanted to talk about that, too, because a lot of our sisters are getting out on these college campuses, and they're learning, they're joining sororities, these all-female Greek sororities, which has nothing to do with African origin ideology. Don't get it fooled. It has nothing to do with African origin ideology, but what they're doing is they're basically grooming these women into, justifiable whoredom. That what they're doing is they're breaking them in, getting them drunk, and they're molesting these women. They're molesting them. I know this. This is what's going on. They don't want to admit it, but that's what's going on in a lot of these sororities. A lot of these older chicks are lesbians, and they molesting these girls in these sorority parties, breaking them in. And they're urging them, they're secretly brainwashing them into feminism, white supremacist feminism. We shouldn't even call it black feminism. It should be called white supremacist feminism. That's what it is. It's just another tactic of white supremacy, feminism. There's no such thing as black feminism. Exactly, brother. Go ahead, run another caller. Let's take another call.
All right, we're the Raising Awareness group. Let's take area code 216. You're live with the Raising Awareness group.
I just logged on. Can you all hear me?
Yes, sister.
Yes.
You can. What's your name and where you calling from?
All righty.
Yes.
This is Nia, and I'm calling from Cleveland, Ohio.
Hi, Mama Nia. How are you?
How you doing? Okay. All righty. I just logged on, so I was tuning in to the conversation and things. So this is a really good topic. I was just wanting to say that, I noticed, too, like when you say about this sexualization of our sisters, my plantation is on a campus, right? So I see a lot of the sisters, they're wearing their natural hair, But I'm looking at, I'm like, wow, no one wear dresses and skirts anymore. Everyone wearing these tight stirrups and, you know, showing their asses, their behinds. And, you know, I'm like, where is the femininity? And, you know, I know everybody just throwing on tennis shoes and running to class, but I was wondering that too, like with those sororities, what's going on. So I came in when one of the brothers was saying they're getting molested and turned out, you know, and that's just, I was making a comment, you had called my area code, but, you know, I just was picking up that vibe too or something when I walked the campus, and I'm like, you know, everybody, it's just, I don't know. I see the natural hair, and I'm glad of that they're accepting their natural hair.
The femininity is missing.
But the femininity,
not
the femininity is missing, but the humility and the honor of being a black woman in your body and being happy. What they're doing is exploiting them. They're trying to tell, this is what they're preaching to these sisters. They're telling them it's okay to be a whore. It's okay to walk around half naked. You're a woman. You're a whore. This is how they manipulate black women into their feminism. They're telling them it's okay for you to be promiscuous. That's power. They're telling them walking around half naked, walking around switching, walking around. You know, the natural hair thing. That's the one thing. They want the big fro. Everybody wants the big Angela.
They do.
Davis fro.
Angela Davis fro. They all live for that. They all want the throwback, fist pumping, black power Angela Davis fro. But they want them to walk around half naked like how Pam Grier did and Foxy Brown and all that. That's what they want.
Exactly. That's what I see
they're manipulating them.
I do.
It's the slut walk movement that's going around.
The slut movement.
Yeah, exactly.
Slut walking.
Exactly.
The slut walk movement. And, you know, and that's the thing. Our women are idolizing the wrong type of black women. You know, like you said earlier, Afrikaners, you know, instead of, you know, role models like Claire Huxtable and Aunt Viv, you know, and all of them now, they're looking at K. Michelle, Amber Rose, Nicki Minaj, and you know, to even high extent Beyonce, even though she's not as bad as the two I mentioned before, but you know, that's what it is. And like you said, they want to. I hate to come out like this, but it's like they want the perks of, you know, the natural, but being portrayed as a whore at the same time. You know, it's no accountability. There it is. There's no accountability in this right now.
And it's also a constant bombardment on esteem, on self-esteem. You know, so they keep pushing this one image, and if the young black girl sees it and she doesn't feel that she doesn't look the part, she'll try very hard to look the part for a very long time, and she'll take that into her relationships, you know, and never really feel secure in herself because she's never had to be comfortable with who she is, you know. I think you have to provide alternatives, though, because I know that there's a lot of black women, they'll say, I'm not feminist, I'm a womanist, and there's really no difference, you know, to be honest with you. Sure, it may affirm more of black women because it'll cite some black women's achievements and so on, but it doesn't, it still tells you as a black woman to say it's okay for a gay man that wants to be a woman to call himself a woman, to take your place, you know? So it still promotes that, like, hey, look, you know, you're a woman, but you can be replaced by a man, you know? So, and you should accept that as a woman. This is what that feminist psychology pushes on us, you know? And I feel like there should be more study away from that type of, if you really want to get into women's studies as far as being a black woman is concerned, you can read When and Where I Answered, The Impact of Black Women on Race and Sex in America. That's by Paula Giddings. That will give you the history of women here, even through the struggle of the civil rights and Black Power movement and so on, you know. you want to look at something like Dr. Julia and Nathan Hare. They have a really good book on the destruction of the black family and unisexualization. And that they wrote that back in, I believe, in the 70s. So, and that would explain how, if you look at it from a historical standpoint, how these white supremacists use the feminist movement in ways to attack the black woman's womb, basically, to attack her reproductive rights, if you really want to get into it, by either replacing her with men, that want to be women because they were emasculated, and or by getting her to abort all her children, or by rejecting the black man, or rejecting herself, so on. So, and there's another, just one last one. There's The Conspiracy to Destroy Black Women. That's by Michael Porter. It's really good. It's a good read, So we have to start looking at other literature. We have to stop just looking at Bell Hooks, and Angela Davis, because she promotes that whole LGBTQIA movement.
Yeah. Well, that's because
she fell
she's
off
gay.
that bandwagon, that Black Power bandwagon, a long time ago. Now she's for We Are the World, and and the rainbow flag and all that stuff. So she stopped fighting.
She's just a lesbian. That's all. She has nothing to do with it now.
She's a lesbian. It's convenient how you can choose when to be that, and that is supposed to be promoted as some sort of freedom. It's not freedom. It's
compromise.
That's a good analogy. That's a good analogy that you used, is that this over-sexualization of black women has become the new freedom, and that's what we're talking about. Them being able to do their little slut walks on these college campuses and walk around half naked, and we're actually justifying whoredom. It's all signs of freedom because they've brainwashed black women to think that they've been oppressed. These things, you've been oppressed to keep your clothes on. You've been oppressed not to be promiscuous and overly sexual. You've been oppressed about everything. So this is a way to vent your oppression. So this is what a lot of these sororities kind of they agitate these sisters, and they get up in these girls' heads and thinking that this is okay. And this is also what television does. When you watch social media, when you're on social media, when you're watching reality shows, black women drinking and cursing. You used to couldn't get a black woman to curse. Now you hear the cussing and loud mouth. It's just a sign of just saying that you're free. It's okay for you to act like this. So this is another tactic that white supremacists use. But Sister Nia, you still there?
Yes, I am. I'm just taking it in.
Okay.
So I'm just taking it because this is what I see, and I mean it will be freezing cold, and I'm like chest out, breath just popping, and I'm like, I'm just like, I want to say, sister, aren't you cold? I mean, you got to show your behind, and it's so cold, but that's, and I see them walk with the little, other cultures, and so it's just making me see it a different light. I didn't know that, because I know I'm older, so it's good to hear different things. But I am definitely going to recommend those books, Mayada, that you mentioned. I'm going to mention those to this is a professor in women's studies, and I'm definitely going to recommend those books that you had mentioned about, for other role models and things like that the sisters can learn from.
We're raising awareness group. And tonight our discussion is about the demonization and the over-sexualization of the black woman. If you want to chime in with us, just push 1, or those that are just listening via stream, you want to call in and chime in, our number is 323-870-4805. Press 1, and you can chime in and sound off. take another caller, brother. Area code 330. You're live.
Yeah, Motep. This is Fred in Ohio. How's it going, brothers and sisters?
Peace, brother Fred.
Brother Fred, that's good, man.
Yeah, just listening in, and it just so happened the sister who mentioned the book, The Conspiracy to Destroy Black Women, I just bought that about 3 days ago.
You've been on the book cover. You've been on the book buying tear lately, brother Fred.
Man, this is going nuts. Building my library up.
I love
one thing I would like to say it again.
I said I love hearing that though, man. Brothers is expanding. You know, brothers are expanding their education outside of white academia. I love it.
All right, it's just it's wanted to share something I learned from my godmother years ago. She's a dark-skinned sister, and my mother was fair-skinned, lighter-skinned. And she told me when she was growing up and being taught about womanhood, that the fair-skinned women was taught to live on their looks, and the darker-skinned women was taught to live on their character. That caused a friction between the two when she was coming up, i.e. the civil rights movement. And over time, when she saw her daughters come up, which are my sisters, they lost their identification of who they were because of the outside influences of school and TV and music and what have you. So it's a powerful thing, but this is a good conversation that I'm hearing. I just wanted to add that to the convo.
Well, you know what, brother, and thank you, brother Fred. But when you look at it, look who's the culprit again. Who made the war excuse me, who caused the friction with black people about a skin complexion? White supremacy. Right. He is the culprit behind it. He's the one that caused that friction. I'm not talking about no Willie Lynch. I'm not talking about that. I'm not forget about that Willie Lynch theory. Not all talking about in reality what he did when he talked about classes on the plantation, classism, treated lighter skinned people better, made us think being lighter was brighter. You know, this is what he did. Treated the mulatto, treated a biracial person. Hopefully they would side with their white side more than their black side. So, and I want people to understand this, like the brother in the lecture we played earlier, talking about how the white man demonized black women by raping them and told them it was better for them to be raped by the slave master than by the barbarian, over-sexualized black man. You know? It's better for you to be raped by me, the man who's oppressing you, than the man who's genetically made for you. This is the psychotic mindset that white supremacy had. And it's sad that we have black sisters that's fallen for it because they look on a lot of black women are just looking to up their place in white supremacy. And that's just the bottom line. And Sister and a lot of people might disagree with Sister Shahrazad Ali, but she was correct. The white supremacist, what he did was when he allowed black women to have their jobs, when black women started working more, black women started making their own money, and it kind of broke up our homes. We have black women today who will actually look at a man lower than them. Say, for instance, you have a sister who makes $100,000 a year. She meets a brother that makes $90,000 a year. She'll say, you don't make enough money for me. Yep. In a relationship, that shouldn't be an issue because if you make $100,000 a year and I make $90,000 a year, that means we make $190,000 a year. It's not what you make and what I make, what we make together. But this is the competition, and this is another problem why our families are messed up because there's a competition of who's the man of the house. We can't have that anymore in our household. We can't be neck and neck about who leaves the house. That's not an issue in the Asian man house. That's not an issue in the Arab man house. That's not an issue in the Dominican man house. That's not an issue in the Mexican man house. And it's damn sure not no issue in the white man house about who leads the household. But the problem in our household is about who leads the household. Yes, the absentee father is a situation, but we got to identify who causes absentee father. And our job is to put him back in the house. We got to put the black man back in the house so our sons won't be effeminated. So our sons won't be effeminated, and our girls grow up with knowing that the first man that ever treated them with love and affection was from a man, their father, so they know how to be treated. So we can keep them from getting over-sexualized and demonization. So we got to put the man back in the house. That's the only solution. The man has to be put back in the household. We can't be in competition about who leaves the house no more. It's the man, flat out, plain and simple. That's the only way it's functioning.
There's actually a really good book since this is raising awareness that talks about that. It's called Women and Their Fathers, the Sexual and Romantic Impact of the First Man in Your Life. And it's by this sister named Victoria Secunda. And it talks about that exactly. So, oftentimes, like, people just think having single-parent household only affects boys. But there's a huge impact on the girls, too, growing up in these continuous matriarchies, So you can't, she has no hope or chance unless she finds that somewhere else, maybe in another family member or someone close to family, where she has that example of a healthy relationship, to just go in blindly and to even know how to be in a relationship without feeling, without feeling that she needs to either be overly dependent or too independent or, it's imbalanced. So it's sad, but it's not something that we cannot break free from. We could definitely gain some culture from and get back to our roots and when I mean culture, I mean you look back to not just your ancient ancestors, but you even look back maybe 50 years ago, and look back to when it was a high marriage rate and how they had these balanced families and how the man was not reduced to a paycheck, That's the value here for black men. It's a paycheck. It's either he's able to do that child support check or that TANF or whatever, but he doesn't have any type of say or foot in the family, And this is I just want to make one last. You have a lot of women that think, oh well, he makes more money than me, or black women are more oppressed than black men. Let me just tell you some stats real quick. You have black women. They're 70% of all master's degrees. That's master's degrees. Black women currently they get 2/3 of all bachelor's degrees. More than 60% of all PhD doctorates. They hold the majority of African American enrollment in law school, medical, dental. So these are just fictitious things that are out there. Like black women are actually, in that aspect, they're being pushed to be more educated than the black men, and the black men are being pushed to be either incarcerated or, forever in debt or, deliberately. So she could feel that she doesn't need him because he can no longer provide for her like with how she saw in Disney or so on, on television, because that's the example, or the music. And she feels that she's more independent, and it's very self-centered and narcissistic, to be honest. That's what I wanted to add.
Heard that. We're going to take another caller. This is the Raising Awareness Group, and we're discussing the demonization and the over-sexualization of the black women. If you want to chime in, press 1. The number is 323-870-4085. Let's take area code 47. You're live with the Raising Awareness Group. All right, looks like they don't want to speak. Yeah.
Maybe they're on mute.
No, they're not on mute. They're just shy.
Oh.
Probably like, oh no. Who knows?
Can I suggest another book?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
All right. This is a book I'm just started reading too, and we're talking about the over sexualization of black women. Now, it's a book that came out several months ago, but the title wouldn't tell you that it highlights the abuse of black kidnapped or black slave women. The book is called The American Slave Coast: A History of the Slave Breeding Industry. If you listen to this title, the slave breeding industry, who is the focus in that title? How was the industry and who manifested it? And it talks about how the slave master, and once you start reading the first two chapters, you will see how the slave masters increased their slave count or their value by themselves sleeping with women, the slave women, and on occasion forcing the slave man, the black man, to sleep with that woman. They talk about how you had the bucks, how they went from plantation to plantation, dropping 10 kids here, 10 kids there, and what have you. And the woman on a slave box, the slave woman on a slave box, she was always surrounded by kids. She had the most value. And families were decimated because as she's having kids, they're selling them off. This entire book is a very intensive book. I'm just in maybe chapter 3 or 4. Just from the first two, you get a pure picture of what's going on today, which takes me back, and it smells like the post-traumatic slave syndrome. It's like the post-traumatic slave syndrome book by Dr. DeGruy is like a preamble to this book.
Wow. Thank you for that recommendation. Definitely going to get that.
Now we're talking about the over-sexualization of women and demonization. And now I came in toward the half of the program. What steps do you think need to be taken to help educate the sisters?
I think I'm sorry. I don't want to overspeak. I'm not sure. Kevin, did you want to, or Akil, did you want to speak first?
No, you go ahead.
Okay. For me, I think it's really important to, aside from giving, you have to give her identity, because of the identity that's being pushed right now is very destructive. So even if she is in a home where she doesn't see a father or a strong male role model like a grandfather, an uncle, or, someone that's consistent, she needs to be around that. And I say with caution, though, because you don't want to just expose her to anybody just because you're looking for that. She needs that. That's one. And then two, preferably it's the father, though. Preferably, Two, you want to give her the history of her experience. So, and her experience has to go even further than just slavery, And she has to learn about everything that she has contributed to and how the real culture of her ancestors was, it's always family centered. And one person that does that really well is let me get her name for you real quick. She does Africana womanism, which is not to be confused with womanism. It's Dr. Sarona Hudson Weems, and in her words, she said Africana womanism is a term I coined and defined in 1987, and she defined it in terms of giving the black girl and the black woman reference to her ethnicity, her cultural identity, so she could relate to her ancestry and land base, which is, Africa. And, of course, the womanism part, she defines it in terms of, being family-centered and so on, with more African values as opposed to Western or European values that you see here, where it's individualism. It's not centered around family. It's not centered around groups, and so on. And it doesn't promote, like, the unisexualization and so on. Like, that identity is key. Also, there's things like rites of passages. There's a Dr. Mariam Malgus. She passed away, but she wrote a book about Kush, and she also wrote another program where she did in the university where she gave young black women entering college and so on. She experimented with them to give them a rite of passage, and she called it Candaces. Like the queens of Nubia and
Ethiopia,
Kandaka.
Ethiopian queen.
The Kandaka, exactly. So she gave them a rite of passage, and this rite of passage is basically to give them a cultural identity and feel like they have stepped in from whoever they are to now a African woman and queen and so on, and affirm their life with principles and values and so on. So our values and our culture has to be really reinforced, because right now we're promoting a different culture, and as we know, women tend to carry the culture, with our clothing, with the music, with women carry the culture, they inspire the culture. So if you have her promoting a different culture, it becomes, the culture of that group.
Very good. Hey, Brother Fred, we just want to put you on hold, put you back in the box. We got some more callers to get to. If we got time, stay on, Fred. We're going to put you back on. But, again, we're the Raising Awareness Group. We're talking about demonization of black women. One thing, let me just get something out there, too. And Sister Mama Africa just brought something up very good. We have to, the scholarship and the books, that we are referencing to, but we have to return to Ma'at. We have to overall return to our original principles of what our ancestors laid out for us as Ma'at. And that's why you see us, we love to promote books of methodology to use to solve problems of study team, proper research. That's why we use University of Kmt Press. And, teachers like Taka Kilimanjaro, his wife Effie Kilimanjaro, Yara Neb, we use their methodology. That's what we use here to Raise an Awareness Group. A lot of people inbox us and ask us on the pages, what book do you read? Who do you research? We use University of Kmt Press methodology, and we go by Bach, we go by Ma'at. And like I said, I'm a historian myself. I love history, so that's why I am very deep into African time. And it's the first 1,000-page book ever illustrated by African scholarship, and that's why I love, referencing that book for history of timeline of epochs. But we have to return to Ma'at, and we have to look through things through African binders. We cannot continue to use Eurocentric. African black people cannot solve white supremacy. We cannot fight white supremacy or fix white supremacy using white supremacist solutions that they've given us that don't work that way. So we have to use our own methodology, and we have to go by what our ancestors laid out for us. And they have a beautiful book laid out called Ma'at, beautifully illustrated, and I recommend that especially for the home and people who want to return to Ma'at and get an understanding of what those principles are. And you should definitely refer yourself to University of Kmt Press for that literature. But let's move on. Let's take another caller. Let's take caller 407. You're live with the Raising Awareness Group.
Hey, Ashley Peoples here in Orlando, Florida. This is a very personal and emotional topic because as a black woman myself.
Excuse me. What's your name? What's your name again?
I'm Ashley Peoples here in Orlando,
Ashley?
Florida. Can you hear me?
Ashley? Sister Ashley, that's your name? Ashley Peoples? How are you doing tonight,
Yes, that's
sister?
right. I'm doing lovely tonight. But with this topic, yes, with this topic, it's so many degrees and levels to it when it comes down to the demonization of black women. It goes beyond us being over sexualized. You know what I'm saying? It would take forever to truly explain what little black girls go through, what teen girls, what young women and mothers go through, what professional women go through. You know, it's a full persecution. And
well, tell us, how about this? Tell us, give us an example. What have you gone through that you feel as though you've been demonized as a black woman?
As a black woman, is my upbringing. I'm a preacher's daughter, so it's a lot that also comes with that, because there's your place and what's appropriate and what's acceptable. Also, you know, that I grew up living under those terms and seeing the differences between black men and black women. But what's more relevant to me in my situation is being ridiculed and critiqued for who and how I am, for how I look and how I present myself. I'm an outgoing, outspoken person, and a lot of times that's with these stereotypes that's perceived as bossy or whatever it may be. But also, one of the pains that I've experienced is watching our black brothers. Just about every black man I've known has dated outside of our race, and it's even being praised. Like, yo, you pulled a snow bunny. Yo, how you pulled it? How you get that? You know how our lingo, how we is. You know, and there's this, like, what gets me with this is that we're judged on all levels, and what's not being realized is that we don't have the right to be victims. We're judged for how we raise our children. We're judged for how we behave with our men. You know, we're judged on all levels. You know, they're saying that we're not vulnerable, we're not nurturing, we're not supporting women. But I've watched my women in my family pray and fast and put up with so much from our brothers just to have one. You know, we get told that we're unworthy and that we're not good enough, and that's the problem with black women, is that we've been told for hundreds of years that we're not good enough and that we're ugly as hell in every way. You know, we've been ridiculed publicly worldwide, so a lot of us have a difficulty finding our identity. As the sister said before, there's so much importance in being able to identify who you are and finding worth in that. And all over we see we're not good enough, we're not good enough, we're not good enough. So to answer the brother question before me, I feel the solution would be the power of imagery. And us putting out those images. I love this natural movement that's coming along, and us remembering to be proud of who we are now. But it's sad because each generation we have to continuously remember who we are, you know, and how worthy we are. And, I think that what it would take is our black man appreciating us. Hold on one moment. Come on, baby.
Okay.
Well, we definitely appreciate.
I apologize, but I just think it would take for us. Just to sum it up.
But let me say this though. What do you have, a boy or a girl? What do you have? A little boy, little girl?
I'm raising two sons, 5 and 2.
Two sons, 5 and 2.
Yeah.
The terrible twos. But you know what? Let me say this to you, sister. We as black men, you know, when I said earlier, and let me restate, let me reiterate, when I say the black man has to be put back in the house, I didn't mean any black man, because all of us ain't good. All of us ain't good. So you got to put the black man back in the house who's worthy of being up in that house, who's going to be the lead the children, teach the children. That's what we preach. That's the methodology we use. That's our slogan. Teach the children. So you got to have the right type of man up in the house along with the right type of woman to raise. Because what happens is, what's going on right now, we have tormented people raising children, and that's got to stop. A lot of black people have been raised by tormented parents. You can't have tormented parents, you know, who have been tortured and been through abuse raising their kids. Because what you think is going to happen? They're going to raise them with abuse. And that's why a lot of these black brothers out here have that mentality about thinking it's some sort of honor or some badge that he scored a snow bunny. There ain't no honor in that. You're selling out. selling out and you're playing yourself. Because if you loved your black mother, you wouldn't want nothing else but a black woman. So, and the solution to that is we have to return to our principles. We have to stop using those Eurocentric ideologies to fix his problems that he caused on us. That's not going to work no more. It ain't going to work anymore. We can't keep using him to fix things. We can't be worrying about going to Jerry Springer and Maury Povich figuring out who the baby is, who the baby daddy is, and all that. We got to fix our lines of communication with us. We got to fix that. Once we fix our lines of communication, we return to Ma'at, and we fix our lines of communication, and we on the same page. I can't be on page 10 and you on page 2, and I can't be on page 1 and you on page 5. We got to be on the same page together, on the same book, reading out at the same time as a family. And that's what we're in a lot of that foolishness. Now, let me say this. I will say religious binders aren't helping us either, because religious binders have demonized our women just like that. And Sister Mayada will do that. And, hey, sister, I'm thankful for chiming in. We got a lot of callers to get to, and I promise, and that's one thing we like to do here to raise awareness group. We just don't like to lecture. We like to have dialogue, too. So if it's time, we'll put you back on. But we just want to put you back in the box so you can listen to the show. And hey, take care of the children. Teach the children. Teach the children, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, sister. And you know what? Us here at the Raising Awareness group, that's what we believe in. Teach the children, because that's how we're going to beat white supremacy. Go ahead, brother.
Let's take another caller. Yeah, let's take another caller. Area code 817. You're live with the Raising Awareness group.
Brother Yara. What's that Raising Awareness group? This is Brother Yara. How you guys?
Oh, peace, Elder. How you doing? How you doing tonight? I'm glad you chimed in. I didn't know you were chiming in tonight.
I'm doing well. Just so you guys know, so everyone knows, I am driving, so you might get a little background noise.
Oh, okay. Just to let everybody know, Yara Neb is one of the founders of the University of Kmt Press. That's the methodology we use here at Raising Awareness Group. They just had a wonderful online lecture last Saturday talking about University of Kmt Press, their library of books, books that they have out currently and future books that they are coming out with. And Brother Yara, Taka Kilimanjaro, his wife Effie, they just wonderful people with humility and candor, and just they just have a wonderful movement, a philosophy that we need to restore back in our community. And one of the solutions that we believe that will rid ourselves of this, especially this demonization of black women, which is just a tactic of white supremacy. And I said this, I've been saying it about returning to Ma'at, and that's one of the books that's featured in their library. So, Brother Yara, talk to us about it. Talk to us about Ma'at.
Well, the first thing I want to do is appreciate Brother Fred for asking the questions with solutions, about solutions. And the second thing I want to do is the sister that gave the list of books to do more research to give a better perspective of what can be studied to raise the awareness of Black African women. If you guys could list those books on in the comments, that would be appreciated.
Oh, sure, no problem, Elder, no problem. No.
And
Kevin, can you do that for him, Kevin? Put that in the comment box. Or Akil, get with Sister Mayada so those books could be in the comment box with the show right here on the blog talk.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Okay, no problem. Okay.
And then the third thing, I appreciate what you just did, Brother Afrikan, is bringing it back to the principles of Ma'at. The foundation is in the house, as the sister was saying. Is it Sister Mayada that was saying that the standards have to change, the imagery has to change, the identity has to change. We have to regain our identity. Those are fundamental to reestablishing who we are, because we have to remember that you guys are saying the white supremacist is using a black woman to project a negative image for other black women. The black woman is not being forced to portray that image, and neither is the black man being forced to exploit that image. those are decisions that are being made, and the decisions are being made because, as Sister Mayada said, it's such a individualistic attitude and disposition that we have now in this country, be it black or white or Hispanic or otherwise. The American culture is the high point of European culture currently, and European culture is fundamentally individualistic. And so I don't have the black people that are portraying this negative image don't identify with the black community. And we know why the black community is nearly non-existent, if existent at all. And so this piece about the study and the research, or the research and the study and the reclamation of our culture, and putting the pieces back together, just what is the role of the black man, what is the role of the black woman, what is the role of the black child. As Brother Kevin said, no, it wasn't Kevin, it was the first brother that was on. You have Ase, Asar, and Haru as the high points, the principles of what a family looks like.
Mm-hmm.
If we're not teaching that to teach that, maybe in a positive, to teach that in the home sets a new and proper foundation for us to build on. As you see, you run it every now and again. We run into children who have it as their foundation, and they behave much different. The standard of dress for them is different than the tight clothing and the wanting to expose themselves. That's not what they're looking to do. So they're raised on a much more solid and healthy foundation. When we, as the adults and the parents, take the time, which a lot of us don't want to do, take the time to do the necessary work to offset and replace the offset and then elevate the standard. So we have to do the fight to neutralize the white supremacy is doing, and then do another level of work to elevate the standard. A lot of us don't want to do that work. It's extremely challenging, and you don't get a lot of support, and the outcome is not guaranteed because we are raising people, and you never know what a person is going to do. And so, and there's an uncertainty because most of us have proven not to want to do the work of the research. Not necessarily we want to half-ass the application because we half-ass the research. And so here we are, 30, 40 years later, with young girls walking around with skin-tight clothes in their teenage years, and young boys walking around with skin-tight clothes in their teenage years, and thinking it's okay. It's the artist Lupe Fiasco has a song. So the great videos, Bitch Bad, and he just shows the dichotomy that the parent is listening to music that's derogatory, but the child associates the music with the parent. The child loves the parent, so the music must be okay too. But then when the child grows up and runs into his or her peer, the connotation for the language is confusing, and so the girl is presenting herself now in a trashy way, and the boy is confused. Well, do I accept that or do I not accept that? Because my mother wasn't a trashy person, yet she listened to this music and promoted this music. And so all that to say that we have to take responsibility for our own liberation. And you brought up Kmt. There's one thing that we learned. One of the things that we learned that shines through in Kmt is that your destiny is your responsibility. How your heart is judged at the end of your life is your responsibility. It's not preordained. It's not in anybody else's hands but yours. But there will be a judgment. So the African woman, the African man have to do what's necessary to take responsibility back for how we raise our children in the midst of this hedonism that we live in. and then take responsibility for guiding our children as they get older along the correct path. So we can no longer live in two worlds. You know, we can no longer be the African American. We have to make a choice whether we're African or whether we're American. So that's just it. Always appreciate everyone and the work you guys do, and appreciate the support.
Hey, anytime, Elder, and I appreciate everything you and Taka and FA do, the community at large, and just the wonderful methodology that you guys laid out for us, and just to put us back on track and under our African binders, and we appreciate you, brother. You know, you're always welcome to chime in, unannounced or unannounced, doesn't matter.
Well, thank you for that. And then I'll also forget that and you're right, Afrikan, in our book, what we did in my guiding principles of moral living. Mayada is a feminine principle. At our highest point in Kmt, at our highest point in history, in Kmt, our best mind said that the universe, creation itself, was allowed to happen because of a feminine principle, that feminine principle being Mayada. So the creation of the universe itself rests on the principles of Mayada, which we express as a feminine principle. And so the feminine principle has to be reestablished and maintained if creation itself stands a chance. And so as it relates to the demonization or the dehumanization of the black woman, it's a challenge. Yes, it's a challenge. We're faced with that challenge of righting the scale. So that we're faced with the challenge of righting that scale, reestablishing that principle. But to do otherwise is to seal our own destruction. So there's really no choice. So in our book, that's why we give the 13 first, right? First inner before outer, first small and large, first self before others, right? First women and children before the men, you know. And so that's why we give the rites of passage. That's why we give the morning declarations and the evening declarations to children. Because we have to set the record straight, and we don't do it in a arbitrary way. We didn't pull this stuff off the air. This is what our ancestors did at our best point and our longest point of being best, and that's from the Nile Valley civilization. So it behooves us to go back to our best point and then launch ourselves from there, not just replicate what they did, but then launch ourselves forward from there. And so we've done our homework with that book. It's our first book. We've done our homework with that book. Without a moral foundation, nothing else matters. Nothing else matters because it disintegrates. It disintegrates around immorality. So if we have the moral foundation, we have the high probability of success. And so again, I appreciate everyone, especially you, Sister Mayada. Your clarity on this is superb. The clarity and your delivery on the subject is outstanding. I appreciate that.
Thank you, brother.
My pleasure.
All right, thank you, Baba Yara. We'll definitely stay in touch. All right, peace. We're the Raising Awareness group. We're talking about demonization of black women in our community. If you want to talk to us, just press 1. If you have something to get off your chest, just ask us a question. We'll put you right on. Let's go to another caller. Let's bring in my brother Kufu. Brother Kufu, you there?
What's up? This is Brother Kufu, Aku, Mental Hotep, co-founder of Raising Awareness Group. Wow. This is a very great subject. And it's very touching to me, considering the fact that, I'm raising a daughter, and, this show is going to be a show, once she's able to understand, I'll be able to play for her to listen to. And also teach her a lot of the things that's been talked about on the show. And, because I'm pretty sure she's going to be exposed to a lot as she grows into an adult. The demonization of a black woman is a multifaceted issue, very complex. The black woman is the mind of the black community. So she's being attacked on a lot of different elements. as opposed to the black male. And as far as the demonization of the black woman, it's coming on a lot of forefronts. It's more so mentally, and as actually I heard Ashley Peoples call in, and she mentioned how she's been exposed to a lot, and she sees that black men are dating white females, and the reason why they're dating white females is because white females have historically have always been easier to have sex with, because they had no moral values. They didn't really have no moral values. So with black women, there used to be a standard, with black women. You know what I'm saying? Like, you wasn't just going to get in the draws, so to speak. If you wasn't trying to build something, if you wasn't trying to build the family, build the nation, and things of that sort. So we have our black men got to get back to those principles. But also with our black women nowadays, what they have to understand, the young black women, what they have to understand is there is a set agenda for them, as well as the black man. A lot of young black women don't, or they refuse to see it, or they just don't see it. That is an agenda out there to attack them also. One is to get the black man out of the household, so that makes them more vulnerable mentally. So, within that, there comes the over-sexualization of the black female. If you look a lot through media nowadays, you got, and you see these shows on VH1, and you got black women comfortable with calling each other a bitch, and you also got, the media also got black men comfortable with calling black women a bitch, But more so with women. Women use it as more of a term of endearment now. Like, oh, that's my bitch, or that's my beer. They use it in, they soften it up, So I say all this to say is that some of the immediate solutions has to start in the household. Our young black women who are the mothers in Mama Africa said that, women carry the culture. Okay, so if women are the kids' first teachers, they're going to look at their mom and see what their mom is doing. So if their mom is calling their friends a bitch, or if their mom is, out here, condoning what we would consider not moral behavior, or AKA ratchet behavior, the kids are going to look at that, But we have to begin to take a stance against these TV shows like on VH1. We can't be, having our women sitting at home watching Jerry Springer, like what was mentioned earlier. And that comes with the role of having a man in the household, because he should be able to guide that way or guide that path. Case in example, if you're if you're a strong black man and you got a woman in the household, you shouldn't be allowing her to watch VH1. You shouldn't be allowing her to watch Jerry Springer, And if your wife or your mate is at home, you should be constructing her to use her mental capacity in a more productive manner.
Mm-hmm.
She can read.
Hold on, Kufu. Let me bring on Sister. She's on the line too. We're gonna keep you on, Kufu. You're staying. Your mic is still live. But let's bring in Sister Ashley. This is Sister Ashley. She runs the page Black Women Against Feminism.
Okay.
Are you there?
Hey. Yes,
hey,
I'm here.
sister. How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just happy to be a brother. I'm happy in the skin that I'm in. I'm happy to be
I'm
African.
happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm glad you're here, sister.
To be on the show.
I'm glad you're here. So talk to us right now. We got my brother Kufu. He's on. Brother Kevin Williams is on. Myself. Tell us. So what parts do you believe that black feminists play in the role of demonization of black females?
Well, black feminists, since they carry out so much of the same ideology as the white feminists, is the whole don't slut shame, and also being a supporter
Oh.
Can I hear her? I can't
your
hear
mic. Yeah, your mic is your phone is messing up, Sister Ashley. Can you hear us?
Goodness. Okay, yeah, I can hear you fine. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you good now. Go ahead, sister.
Okay, so since they support the same ideologies as the white feminists do. The only difference is the black women will actually face, some oppression, where the white feminists really aren't oppressed like they say they are. But between supporting abortion and just this being promiscuous and don't slut shame, all this type of stuff that they're pushing out, but they don't show any respect toward the black man. And anytime like there's a black man that's trying to be in power or has something to say about a black woman, they automatically resort to, oh, this is misogyny, or this is patriarchy. They just don't have a respect for the black male authority. And also black feminism, they also promote female masculinity. If you're promoting female masculinity, then you're automatically going to throw off the balance of the way the female and the male relationship is supposed to be. Because if the male is supposed to be masculine, the female is supposed to be feminine. So if you're out here promoting female masculinity as a way of you supposedly being strong, then you're leading your sisters down the wrong path. And black feminists have a higher platform than what somebody like me would have. So I run the Black Women Against Feminism page, and even though we don't have a whole lot of national recognition, we've still been watched by liberals and other feminists of the page because they've responded to some of the things that we've put out on the page, but they do it subliminally. Like they'll have a video or something where they'll kind of address something that we have said as a way to kind of try to pull black women back to feminism. So one time I shared this article about how black women left feminism and all of the racialness within it. The very next day, Huffington Post, they kind of tried to put out something to counter it, to try to pull black women back in and kind of to apologize. But it's just the image that they portray, and the fact that they're against being a virtuous woman. They still this one lady, she was starting this hashtag saying that I can do both. And what? Hello, can you hear me? I can't hear anything. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah.
You can hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
So she was starting this big hashtag that started off saying I can be both. And while no one is saying that you can't be a virtuous woman and also be professional, the other hashtag that went along with it was, F your virtue, down with misogyny and all this type of stuff. They don't want anyone to have any standards on them. And so when you walk out and you dress half naked and all of these men are trying to talk to them or whatever, they pretend that they don't want this attention, and it's causing so much stress in their life. It's just, black feminism is nothing but a bunch of confusion. It's the any black woman that's following this is gonna always upset whatever type of the balance that we're supposed to have. And they've even said the Black Lives Matter website that they're family, and they said something about having a village. Well, African people have always encouraged having a village, but they were saying they wanted to destroy the nuclear family, which is the the father, the mother. You still have your nuclear family within that village, but with them supporting the destruction of the nuclear family and having these single parent households, it's not the best example for your child. Your child doesn't get to see the way the husband is supposed to treat the wife, the way the wife is supposed to treat the husband, and it sets up a whole new level. It just continues the dysfunction that's already there, and it's just terrible. I wish we could end it. I want to keep doing what I can, to expose it. And I just wish black women would stop following this. But there are some black women who feel like they feel so victimized and helpless that they actually think that feminism is the answer and that feminism can help them. And they would actually link arms with these white women who only pull them when they need them at an advantage. Overall, typically, they do not care. When something happens to a black woman, all of these black women that's been killed and stuff like that, you don't hear these white feminists out here trying to protest, and, you know, they're not out here like they were about man spread. You know, you don't hear them.
But as soon as it's time for a black woman to be put on ears and out there with doing a slut walk and acting a fool and buck dancing and, you know, throwing her fro around and telling other black women to put stones and pebbles up in them, and now it's this new thing of black women are supposed to have sex. You know, it seems like it's more fun for a black woman to have sex with these crystals and stones and pebbles and stuff like that, shove them up in them. You don't need a man now. You don't even need a man for orgasm. You use this. You don't need a man no more. You don't even need him for nothing. You don't even need him for his phallus no more. You don't even need the black man no more. So they even moved on to that. But like you said, but where was Trayvon? Where was the white feminists from Trayvon Martin and Jordan Davis and any of our other black young youths who were getting murdered? And even when our own situations, when our people are killing each other, the drugs is getting put in the streets. They don't want to talk about that. Where are these white feminists says that? I don't see none of them. I don't see Ellen DeGeneres handing out all these cards and money and clothes and trips on the show to people like that. I didn't see Ellen DeGeneres bringing in Trayvon Martin's mother and father on her show talking about that. You know, but they love the buck dance with Ellen DeGeneres when it's time for you to act a fool on TV, you know, and walk around half naked and falling out on Jerry Springer and Maury Povich and trying to figure out who's your baby daddy. So then and I'm glad you brought that up, sister. I really appreciate you came on the show. I know you was working, you was busy, and you didn't have that much time, but I'm glad, you know, you definitely dropped some jewels on us just to chime in with us, because we need this, and we need the sister support, because we want y'all to know, and this is for sisters who hear this show, that we have your back. There are brothers out here who have your back. Forget about them clowns that you see on social media with the memes and who's winning and who ain't winning. They lost. Some of them just rotten, and they grew up in dysfunction. But that's not the vast majority of it. Don't let that one fool have you think that that's how we all think. There's a lot of us don't want no white woman. We don't have the least bit care for a white woman. But we all know how social media goes and how people will jump on you. Oh, you racist. Or you this. Or you that. You know, they're quick to demonize you. And we need y'all sisters to step up against this homosexuality and the feminization of our black boys. We need black women to step up.
Right.
We need black
That's another thing about black feminism and how they sit up and support the homosexuality and the feminization of men and calling it what they call like a masculine man and a dominant man. Sometimes they're referred to that as male toxic masculinity. I think that's what they've been calling it now. So a masculine man. They try to put him down for being, you know, strong or whatever, and it's just and I just wish the whole independence thing would just I don't know how long it's going to take to get that out of black women's minds, but it's so engraved in us now to where I was watching that video at the Trump rally where that one black woman got pushed all around, and there was a black man who came in there and was saying, basically saying how, you know, this is the time black men need to step up and protect their women or something like that. And this one black woman came on there and she's like, no, she stood her own. Black women are strong. She didn't need anybody. And I was like, is this woman serious? But I was impressed, though, to see other black women checking her. But I was thinking, how far gone can you be to actually think that that woman did not need anybody there to protect her? Had she been there with a brother, father, cousin, somebody else, a black male figure, she wouldn't have gotten pushed around like that. No, I don't think she held her ground. I mean, she was there and she didn't, like, wig out, but she got pushed around. And those men wouldn't have put their hands on her like that if she had had a male there to protect her. But the fact that a black woman could think that we're so strong that we don't need a black man or no man, period, is just beyond me. It's just crazy that we actually think that. We pass this down to our daughters, even to the point where the fact we don't even teach them, like, that's the way that they need to love a man or to be with a man, but we actually raise them to where they don't the way we think they won't need a man, or to how to try to be independent.
Because young black women are, because white women are trained and educated to, or groomed to get married and take care of their man, whereas black women are trained and groomed to survive without one, and that has to stop. That has to stop immediately. But we're going to have to eventually wrap up the show. It was a wonderful show. Brother Cooper, you got anything to finish up real quick? Brother Cooper, you still there? I think he chimed in.
Yeah, I'm here. Oh,
okay.
Here.
You got anything real quickly, brother, just to take us out real quick? Anything to add? Real quick, brother?
Yeah, well, another thing, just to touch base on what she said real quick, other females got to understand that there are other females out here that want to be counterproductive to reestablishing that standard in the household, having a black male in the household helping lead the way, especially with kids. And anybody that has kids, I'm pretty sure nobody's going to say, yo, I want to raise kids by myself. Nobody wants to raise kids by themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not easy. You know what I mean? You need that other person there to help raise kids and to build that foundation. And that's the way that it's always been, and that's the way it always should be. So for other women out here to be counterproductive to that, it just sends a clear message. And, she touched based on a lot of different things like the slut walk and stuff like that. Those are women who have been compromised, mentally, and they want to perpetuate that onto other women. And, that stuff has to stop. But I know y'all got to wrap up the show, so that's my word. Peace.
Peace, brother. Thanks for chiming in. Love you, brother. Brother Kevin Williams, you still there? Got anything to add real quick, brother?
Only thing I'm just going to add is, look, man, it's like this. In order to defeat this negativity of demonization from the black woman and the black male, it's just like this, man. We just got to be unified, man. Unified. That's it. Black man, black woman, black child, black families. That's all I got.
All right, peace, brother. Sister Ashley, you got anything to add just to take us out with?
Yes, I just want to say that we just need to reestablish, black women need to reestablish the feminine principle, get back to their traditions, and stop following all of this hype that's in the media, stop all this materialistic stuff, and really out trying to, live this celebrity lifestyle. Like, we got to stop following that and actually looking up to that type of stuff, and get back to respecting our men.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Thank you, sister.
Yeah, and valuing marriage.
Valuing marriage, yes, indeed. And, all these principles that we just named, and looking and viewing things and using proper African philosophical ideologies is what we need to get back to. Again, we never had battle of the sexes. We didn't have prostitution. We didn't have jails in Africa. We didn't have these issues. We didn't have slavery. These were all brought to us, and we were indoctrinated with these ideologies. They are immoral, barbaric, and this is what the Indo-Aryan European came with. So we have to erase this type of thinking out of our minds, and then we have to teach our children, because that's the methodology we use. We have to teach our children. That's the only way. We have to use the African ideology, African scholars, and we have to go through our history and use our binders to get back to our principles, because we're not going to get anywhere using his solutions anymore. That'll never work. It hasn't worked for us, and it won't work for us. So that's why we're in the situation we are. And I just like to say again, just thank you for everybody that chimed in, all our callers. We air live every week. Every Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. Next Wednesday, we'll be airing live from the West Philly Produce. We're going to be talking about community action in our neighborhood. We're going to have the brother Arnett Woodall on. It's going to be an awesome show if you're about community action and you want to know how to get out there in your community. The brother does excellent community service in his community. We're going to talk to him. We're going to air live from his store. He has a beautiful produce store right in West Philly. We're going to talk to him. We're going to talk to people in the community. And we're going to talk about community action. And again, if anyone's interested in our methodology books, University of Kmt Press is who and what we use. Please go to the website, University of Kmt Press, or contact Yara and Nab or Sky Kilimanjaro on Facebook. Easy to get a hold of these brothers, and they'll show you their library, and they'll ship them out right to you. Again, thank you, everybody. Thank you for our Elder Mku, for the Raising Awareness Group. I'm Brother Afrikanus, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Bye.